Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Shannon Beador kicks off the RHOCC reunion dragging toxic Tamra judge. Shannon Beador didn't come to play at the Real Housewives of Orange County reunion, and Tamra judge found that out the hard way. Viewers will see an epic confrontation between the duo when the episode airs, but the teaser gives us something to hold us over. Tamra was in for quite a surprise when host Andy Cohen asked the women to share their intentions for the reunion before kicking things into gear. The outspoken housewife expressed her desire to reconcile with her former friend, despite criticizing her throughout the season. Shannon was not on the same page, expressing her desire to sever ties with Tamra and their toxic friendship. The 60-year-old also debunked claims that they were very close before the DUI, noting that they never got their friendship back on track when Tamra returned to the franchise. Tamra judge tries to broker peace with Shannon Beador at the RHOC reunion. Part 1 of the RHOC reunion is upon us, and a teaser for what's to come shows the inevitable face-off between Shannon and Tamra. Before the show officially started, host Andy Cohen asked the women to share their intentions for the day. Tamra's response was interesting, given her harsh treatment of Shannon throughout season 18. "I want to talk about why I was hurt by what went down and hope that we can get to a common ground," she shared. The 57-year-old reasoned that while they don't have to be best friends, "I don't want it to be uncomfortable, and I don't want it to be toxic." Shannon hits back at toxic Tamra and denies claims they had a close friendship. While Tamra was willing to broker peace at the reunion, Shannon was ready for war and dragged her former friend for her behavior. "The way I was treated by you this season is unacceptable," exclaimed the RHOC star. "You attacked me, and I really don't have an interest in being friends with you." Shannon also threw shade at Tamra after she revealed she was in therapy to discover the reasons behind her anger. "What I'm doing in my therapy, I'm creating healthy boundaries, and a healthy boundary is not being in a toxic relationship," said Shannon. When Tamra questioned if their entire friendship was toxic, Shannon responded, "Absolutely," and slammed claims that they had a tight-knit relationship. "When you came back on the show, we never got to the point of friendship that we were before," she confessed. "You can keep exaggerating on how close and how often we spent time together, because we weren't that close." The stage lights illuminated Shannon Beador as she took her place on the plush reunion couch, visibly ready to clear the air. Clad in a striking black jumpsuit with sequins that caught every bit of light, Shannon's energy radiated determination. Beside her, Tamra judge sat poised yet clearly guarded, her typically fierce eyes narrowed as Shannon readied herself to speak. For weeks, the build-up to this reunion had fans buzzing online. Tamra judge's return to the Real Housewives of Orange County had brought some heat, but also a wave of complex emotions. For Shannon, it was a whirlwind of nostalgia and tension, and in her words, Tamra had been a toxic presence both on screen and in real life. The T-word had been whispered on blogs and social media, but no one expected Shannon to take it head-on at the reunion, at least not so directly. Andy Cohen, caught between the women on the couch, sensed the tension, giving Shannon the floor with a raised brow. "Shannon, you seem like you have a lot on your mind tonight," he prompted. With a deep breath, Shannon began, "You're right, Andy. I think this season has brought a lot to the surface, things I didn't expect, or maybe didn't want to see again." She turned, looking directly at Tamra. "I have to say, I came into this season excited to have you back, Tamra. I thought we could pick up where we left off and work through our issues, but instead I feel like I got someone I don't even recognize anymore. And I don't think I'm the only one who feels that way." Tamra let out a small, bitter laugh, her nails drumming rhythmically on the armrest. "Really, Shannon? Are we doing this? Because I remember you being pretty eager to pick me apart behind my back all season. So who's really the toxic one here?" Shannon's expression tightened, and the words began flowing faster. "It's funny you bring that up because that's exactly what I'm talking about, Tamra. The way you twist things, make yourself the victim while throwing everyone else under the bus. I thought we were friends, but I'm starting to think you only come around when it's convenient for you." A quiet murmur rippled through the set as the other housewives leaned in, eyes darting between Shannon and Tamra like spectators watching a tennis match. Emily and Gina exchanged knowing glances, clearly ready for what they knew would be a reunion to remember. Tamra's tone grew sharp. You think I'm only around when it's convenient? Shannon, you know exactly why I've acted the way I have. The last few years have been tough for me, and instead of being there, you ignored me until the cameras were back on. If I'm toxic, maybe it's because you made me that way. Shannon's voice dropped to a whisper, but it was laced with a tremor of anger. Tamra, I tried to be there for you. I invited you over, I reached out, but every time I got close, you'd turn around and make a dig at me, call me weak or play games with my other friendships. I thought we were done with the petty games. And you know what's the worst part? I believed you cared. But all I got was the same old Tamra, stirring the pot for drama and leaving me to clean up the mess. The reunion set was silent. Andy took a sip of his mug, visibly calculating his next question, knowing he had to dig deeper into the cracks of this fractured friendship. Tamra, do you think there's any truth to what Shannon's saying? Andy asked, his eyes shifting from Shannon to Tamra. Tamra crossed her arms, shrugging with a defiant smirk. Look, Shannon loves to play the victim. She's great at it. But let's not forget, Shannon, that every time things go wrong in your life, you want everyone to drop everything and come running to you. But you never give that in return. It's always the Shannon show. She paused, letting her words sink in. And I'm tired of always being the bad guy in your narrative. Shannon's face tightened as she fought back her frustration. The Shannon show. Are you serious? I have dealt with my fair share of struggles, and I would have thought that out of anyone, you would understand that and support me. But it's clear that you only see me as a punching bag to boost your own storyline. A hush fell over the set as Shannon's voice broke slightly. She took a deep breath, steadying herself. For years I defended you, even when others warned me about how toxic you could be. I was loyal to a fault, and now I'm realizing that maybe that loyalty was misplaced. Tamra shook her head, laughing bitterly. Oh please, Shannon, loyalty? You throw me under the bus just as many times. You say I'm toxic? What about the way you constantly pick apart everyone's lives and decisions while refusing to face your own flaws? The back and forth went on, each accusation driving a deeper wedge between them. As Andy watched the exchange, he pressed both women to reflect on their issues, though it was clear that years of tension had built a wall almost impossible to breach. The other castmates sat back, aware that anything they contributed could likely draw them into the crossfire. After a few moments of silence, Andy finally interjected with his classic reunion advice. It sounds like you both have a lot of pain tied up in this friendship, and maybe both of you contributed to that in different ways. Shannon's voice softened, though her resolve remained. Maybe I did contribute to some of it, Tamra, but I've tried to be accountable, and I need you to understand that I can't have you in my life if it's going to keep tearing me down. Friendships are supposed to be supportive, not toxic, and that's what this has felt like lately. Tamra, too, seemed to sense the reality setting in. She looked at Shannon with a mixture of sadness and anger. Maybe we're just better off keeping our distance then, Shannon, because clearly we're never going to see eye to eye. And if that's what's best for both of us, maybe it's time we finally accept it. As the lights dimmed for a commercial break, Shannon and Tamra's expressions softened momentarily, the fiery front slightly cracking. The tension that had simmered all season had finally erupted in a battle that felt both painful and oddly cathartic. The reunion would carry on, and while the women may continue to bicker and fight, both knew a chapter had closed. Whether they'd ever find their way back to a genuine friendship was a mystery, but for now, Shannon felt lighter, unburdened by the weight of a toxic relationship she'd long tried to save.